Okay, what I did was I put these whales on the hull. And I did that before I built the stern. So then when I built the stern, I realized that this area right here, okay, this area right here has to be filled in with a block. So when the whales are glued on, there's no way to get this block in here. So what I did was I used heat and I warmed up these whales, and what I did was I lifted them. See, back to about here. So now what I can do is I can go in and I could put this block in here that I need to do, and then I can go back and reattach the whales. So let me go ahead and do that right now. Okay, what I've done is I've glued these big chunky blocks on the ends of my stern right here, and what they are is these little end pieces like this, except they're just very wide. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to grind them down so they just kind of feather in here, taper in along the top, and then along the bottom I'm going to grind them down so they let me see if we can see here, so they're even with this last frame. You see they stick up right here. See that little point in there? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grind and shape this thing down. So okay, I fitted this piece in here and sanded it from the last frame back to the stern timber, and I've cut it down to the cap rail. This is where the cap rail will sit, right on top of this, and the outside planking will cover this area. And I reattached my whales, and it goes all the way back here, and it's glued to this piece. So that's it. That's what it looks like. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start shaping the upper part of this hull and cutting it loose from this what remains of this jig here. So here's what I've done. Let's zoom in. So here's what I've done. These ones that are scribbled here with the big arrow, those get cut off right below the cap rail. Okay, there's this one, this one, this one, and this one here. So these get cut all the way out of here down to here. Now the next ones are right here. Now these go all the way up to here because they're going to be used as stanchions to hold a cap rail. And then the third one are the ones here with the X's. You see the X's? Those get cut off down here because those are going to be a post that's going to stand up. So now I got to use my little saw, and I'll start by cutting these out. Okay, this is as deep as I want to go because I don't want this blade hitting these frames on either side right here and nicking them. So now from here I'm just going to go in with this blade and cut this by hand. Alright. And that's how quick it'll cut. And I've already cut it up here so I could just tap this out of here. Okay, and get rid of this. Okay, what I've done is I've got my whale put on my hull here, which stabilizes the frames. It's holding all of these in place. So what I've done so far is these lower ones, I've cut these back. This is what my cap rail is going to sit on. Then the next ones are these right here, and these are going to be posts that come up through the cap rail, and then these are my stanchions. So now these, what I want to do is I want to cut them off here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, what I have to do here is take these two frames and take these top timbers and cut them down to single stanchions so they look like this, because this is the gun ports right here. So I'll show you how I cut them down to look like this. Okay, here we go. Okay, let's zoom in on these two right here. Now you can see the line right here of where these two top timbers have come together, and when I put them together I didn't put any glue between these at the very top, so there's a slight spread in them. So let me show you how I do this. I'm going to use my Dremel, and I got one of the smaller drums on the end of it here. So here we go. Keep it nice and steady, because you don't want it to run off in either direction. So hold this thing tight. Okay, there we go. Now what's left on there is a very narrow piece right here. Okay, now that you should be able to just put your blade in between this and spread that off. Well, I have to get it down to this line right here, and the way I do that is I have a little jeweler's saw. So I could just go right in there, like so, and very gently cut this. Bring it right up to the line. Okay, there we go. Okay, right here, this is the actual finish line. Okay, right here, and down in here. And that's for the cap rail. It's going to sit right along here. So, ways to clean these corners up would be, one thing would be using this. Okay, now just carefully go in there. See? It just cleans it right up. Now we're going to do this post here. There we go. Let me tilt this. Okay, see, they are nice and sharp and clean. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down the entire hull and cut those down to the correct height. Okay, another tool is this right here, and I can use that to cut down these frame tops right here. So let's do this one. And that's it. So I can go all along these frames and finish off to the proper height. So that's it. Now the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to go right down the hall, and I am going to square all this stuff up. Square these up right here. Square these up and bring these down to the proper height. So okay, let me do that.